All eyes will be on President Obama tonight as he addresses the country from the Oval Office. His focus, terrorism. I just sat down with New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. She represents the state of New York, a place that knows the threat of terror all too well. She also sits on the Senate Armed Services Committee. Here is her take on what she is calling an era of terrorism. Senator, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tonight, the president will address the nation. He will focus on terrorism, the threat of ISIS. What do the American people need to hear from the president tonight?
Well, all of us will be looking for his vision on how he plans to address this long-term challenge. The president has been right to engage in multilateral negotiations with our allies and other leaders in the Middle East to create a broad-based approach. This is not a problem that's going to be solved in a day, a week, a month, a year. It's going to take a very long time. It's a generational struggle. And so President Obama, I think, will lay out his plan and vision for how he plans to address it. You know, we're New Yorkers here in New York. Since 9/11, there's been over a dozen terror attempts to this city. And we have extraordinary first responders from NYPD to our CIA and FBI who work every day to keep us safe. But this is an era of terrorism, and so we have to be vigilant. And, you know, when I tell my constituents, one of the last terror attempts, it was a T-shirt salesman who saw something and said something. So we can feel safe in our communities because we can be vigilant and we can protect ourselves.
When you say this is an era of terrorism, those are very strong words. And as you know, the president has come under some fierce criticism from opponents who say his language does not match the threat. Do you agree?
I think it is an era of terrorism because I see it every day, and I know from NYPD and FBI how many terror attempts there are in our great city here in New York.
Do you want to hear more from the president on that? Even stronger words? I mean, he told CBS this week ISIS does not pose an existential threat to the United States. Should the language be different?
No, I think the president is very focused on what he needs to do with the Middle East crisis right now. Syria is a very difficult problem, one that I think he needs to engage Congress more on. In fact, I think he needs an authorization of a use of force in Syria if he intends to put troops on the ground. I had not supported some of his past strategies of arming opposition, arming the rebels, because I was highly concerned those weapons would get in the hands of ISIS. So the president is having this conversation tonight, and I think it's a very important conversation he's having. He needs to engage Congress, he needs to engage the American people, and telling them what he has done, because there's a lot that's been going on throughout the Middle East, here in America, to keep our community safer. And I think the more he shares some of his approach, you know, obviously without undermining the nature of these operations and undermining the nature of these strategies. Sure. I think the more he talks to the American people about what he's doing, what he intends to do, he can allay some concerns, because people are worried. I don't agree with governors who are confusing the issue of terrorism with refugees. I think it's wrong for governors to be afraid of refugees. I don't think they need to fear them. We've welcomed children and families into our communities across New York over decades to wonderful effect, to having families come here, raise their families, start businesses, be our entrepreneurs. And so we should stand strong as Americans in believing not only are we a nation of immigrants, but the Statue of Liberty stands for something. She stands for, we take all you're sick, you're tired, the people who need our help. And we should stand by those values. And so we should be welcoming refugees. We should have a very broad-based approach to making sure we can find homes for families, but we can also be vigilant and protect our communities from terrorism. And the president, I think, tonight will lay out some of his vision and strategy to do that.
We are New Yorkers. I moved to New York just a few days before 9/11. I was in California this week following the attack in San Bernardino. Talk to me about New York specifically and what specifically has been stepped up in the wake of Paris and the California attack.
Well, I was at Ground Zero today, standing with first responders from 9/11. And obviously that was the gravest terrorist attack ever on American soil. And men and women are still dying from the diseases that they have because of all the toxins that were released when the towers collapsed. So we need to stand by our first responders. And one of the things I'm actually working on this week is to make sure that we stand by our first responders and pass a permanent 9/11 healthcare bill. That's an important statement, because if you look at what happened in California, those first responders were on the scene.
Four-minute response time.
Is it safe? They didn't ask, is it okay for us to go? They did their jobs, and that's what our first responders did after 9/11. So one of the things that Congress can do this week is pass a permanent health care bill for these first responders to tell all first responders, no matter who attacks us, we are there for you because you answer the call of duty. You put yourself in harm's way for the good of all of us. And so I think that vote this week is very important for our nation, for our national character, and for the morality of this country.
Is New York City, New York State, as much as you can speak, coming from a representative of all of us living here, doing anything differently on a security front in the wake of San Bernardino?
I'm sure they are, and I've not been briefed on all the changes. I have been briefed in Washington on some of the national changes for travel. They're very important, and I know Jay Johnson from Homeland Security is taking any increased threats very seriously. He's changing protocols. He's creating far more accountability so that he knows he's responding to any increased threat anywhere it happens in the country.
My thanks to Senator Gillibrand.